Call an ambulance, but not for me. Ambulance!
Welcome to the Sylveon guide that nobody asked for, but I am doing anyways. It is Moose, and I'm going to tell you why this character is actually a lot better than a lot of people might consider. There are some issues with the character, but how it is right now by the community standards, it's not exactly a bad character. C is not Decidueye, not Trevenant, not Crustle, not Cramorant, though I think Sylveon might deserve a spot in the A tier as well. I think a lot of Pokemon are more viable than what everyone says. So we're going to talk about what makes this a character and where I think the character will be in the future. Passive adaptability, kind of useless. It's not really going to be a factor. Increases special attack by 5% for 1.5 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. But as you can see, the special attack doesn't really become a thing until you hit level 4, which then you get Pixelate anyways. So you can kind of disregard this passive. The amount that it boosts by will be so insignificant that it's just not something to consider. But Pixelate, 6 stacks of 2.5% special attack and special defense. Not too bad. Damage is damage. Her D special defense stat is lacking. I feel like where this character shines is dueling. So she's great against she's actually pretty good against auto attackers. She's great against like Lucarios, all-arounders, Machamps sometimes. I'm gonna go into like lots and lots of different stuff with the character, so don't you worry. This one's hopefully going to be shorter than the last guide, but we'll get there. What's important with Sylveon in the beginning is making sure you hit all the Swift stars. They don't have terrible stats. 32% special attacks, kind of meh. But 190 base power with 4 hits isn't terrible for a starting ability. It just has kind of a long cooldown. But you quickly go into Mystical Fire or Hyper Voice. Now, my opinion is Mystical Fire is better, but Mystical Fire has a big flaw with it, where you can't necessarily control exactly where it goes. It'll go towards your closest target, or it'll go towards a minion that's aggroed on you. But if the minion's like being dragged away, it's not necessarily aggroed on anyone, Mystical Fire won't attack them. That's a really big issue. Now, Mystical Fire is great because it also strips special attack. 15% for 1 second, stacking up to 4 times. That'll be 60% special attack reduction. It's not for a long time, but because each hit refreshes the duration, it can last for a little bit, like a couple seconds. So she's actually really good against like special attackers. Just stripping their damage is so nice. Now, Hyper Voice isn't awful. It has its uses, especially since it can strip special defense, stacking up to 4 times. But honestly, you'll probably be using Mystical Fire more. There are uses for Hyper Voice. Using it in a team comp with like a Pikachu, a Venusaur, making them do more damage. Making a Gardevoir do more damage is great because Gardevoir can then go Moonblast, stun them, then Hyper Voice, or strip their defenses for the future sight Gardevoir to hit. But you know, that's all with a team. And also high mobility champions, Pokemon I should say, champions, give Hyper Voice a bit of trouble because you could use it and then you could be doing no damage for like 4.4 seconds, however long the move lasts. So I feel like Mystical Fire is more consistent. It gives you dashes. There's some outplay potential. Mystical Fire going over walls, which you'll see in the gameplay footage down there. I do want to say in the footage, the first clip had Shell Bell and the second clip had Muscle Band. Just to consider. And I'll talk about the items later. Baby Doll Eyes. It's actually not really bad. It's good damage and it strips 15% attack. Definitely not insignificant amount. And decreases the movement speed. But everyone talks about Draining Kiss. I don't really agree that much with Draining Kiss. It doesn't heal nearly enough, even with the upgraded form. Even if you're max level, And just the math out. 679, let's just say with no held items, right? That's like 900 healing? Something like that. It's really not good. When you could be boosting your damage and giving yourself a shield by such a significant amount. Now, what people don't know about in this game, or don't talk about, and don't think about, is the fact that held items, if I can find the button for it, like choice specs, does damage based on your special attack. Everyone knows that. But they don't consider the fact that buffing your special attack is a big deal. Now, let me see. The shield is also a big deal once you get to 12. You nullify a hit. That's kind of where the outplay potential comes from, with like a Talonflame, a Lucario Power Punch. Lucario's main way of getting in is Power Punch right now. Extreme Speed, yeah, but blocking Extreme Speed is also not bad. Now the ult everyone talks about is so insignificant. They say this thing sucks, doesn't do anything. But when you look at the scaling on it, and with how her kit works, with how much you're boosting special attack, it's actually not too bad. If this is ever buffed in the future, that's going to be a really big deal. The damage isn't the part that, like, you should be talking about. It's the fact that you get 50% more spell vamp, basically. But it's not just spell vamp, it's damage tilt. So she gets 12.5% spell vamp at 7, right? But with this, it's 50% of damage done. I actually haven't fully tested if it's even auto attacks, but the wording has me consider that it is every single piece of damage. Now, if you hit 2 people with this, it's basically like healing half health. Right? 104% special attack, even like if you're level 9. Well, she gets her all to 8, but let's say 9. So it's like 300 plus 620, it's 1000. Freaking middle part, that really, it's only a little bit of damage. It'd be like 1000 damage, of course, before defenses, but you get the point. And she's healing for a big amount of damage. Now, I think her best setup is Mystical Fire with Calm Mind, with the items I'm going to be showing you, but that's my opinion. In a better team environment, when everyone's working perfectly together and you hit all your hits, Hyper Voice is better scaling. And I have a build for Mystical Fire and Hyper Voice that I will be showing. But I've always preferred Mystical Fire for the outplay potential. Let's just quickly go over the stats. So level 7 is a good level. You get the spell vamp at that level. Level 8 you get your ult, which is fantastic. Level 9 is when you get the max cooldown. And level 10 is when Mystical Fire Plus gets activated. So important to know what levels your character actually becomes a character. Level 4. Level 7 is a little bump, but you're really not going to notice the spell vamp too much. Level 8 for ult. Level, oh god, I forgot what I was talking about. Level 10 for Mystical Fire Plus. Now we're going to go over some items real quick. So the first one is the battle items. I should be in presentation mode. What a great content creator I am. Now, I think these are not necessarily ordered, but x-atk is just so good. Now, with what you run, x-atk is 20% more special attack. That'll mean that she'll heal more after ult, which is mainly when you're using x-atk. Ult. Your first Mystical Fire with choice specs will do a massive amount of additional damage. You'll be auto-attacking faster since this is an auto-attack character kind of with Mystical Fire. It's just good. Damage is damage and you can't deny that. Next is full heal. Just getting out of CC is never a bad option. Just getting out of Pikachu, stuns, any kind of like slow smoke, that breaking out of that and then dashing away. It's always going to be a good item. This is never really going to be a bad item. Now slow smoke, just playing into the meta, just jump in, slow him down, and then beat him up with like an ally. X speed to get out of the slow smoke meta. And this also has merit to use with Hyper Voice, because then you'll be able to track the enemy better when you're moving faster. And then you can't be slowed by slow smoke when you're chasing people, so people will panic, drop a slow smoke. And X speed is perfect for that. Now, after that, good option, Fluffy Tail. Her clear's not great. Even with Mystical Fire, it's just not good. She doesn't do objectives well. She's a duelist. 100% a duelist. And she's also good at disrupting and like breaking up enemy formations. Fluffy Tail can help her with farming, which this game is all about farming, if you've ever played it before. And I have run Fluffy Tail before. It makes it do a lot more damage to minions, clears faster. She can get to 4 quicker at the early game before she can get pressured. Once you get 4, then you can kind of out-pressure the opponent usually. Even in a 1v2 scenario, you can play it right. But x-atk, I've always loved x-atk with this character. Now for the builds, let's go over to the builds first. So we have Hyper Voice build with voice and calm, and then we have the fire calm set. And I'll go over everything with this. So we're gonna start with the fire calm, I believe, first. Of course, S tier has a lot of things I've tried and used, and I love all of these. My personal set right now is Choice Specs Energy Amp Shell Bell. With a 9% cooldown, these both give it level 30. And then the massive hits with Choice Specs coming in with Energy Amp, x-atk, Calm Mind. You want to make sure that you're Calm Minding that Choice Specs hits. You want to make sure you're Calm Minding the Shell Bell ticks. That's just a lot. That's a lot more healing, a lot more damage that you're going to be missing out if you're not timing your Calm Mind to be with your item procs. Focus Band, always a good item. Sustainability, you can pop it when low and then you'll pop your alt and you'll be going crazy. Buddy Barrier, always a good item. Big shield, give ally a shield. Nobody complains about having a Buddy Barrier on the team. Score Shield, with Mystical Fire, it can be hard to catch her, especially with Calm Mind Plus once you get to that point. So she can kind of get off some scores for free by dashing in, dashing out, stuff like that. Muscle Band, also another S tier item on this build. Just she's auto-attacking so much with Mystical Fire that this is just OP. Then we have Razor Claw. Razor Claw is okay. I've used it a lot. I've talked about it a lot. It can help break Score Shield users because it does a good chunk of damage. Her attack is actually crazy. As you see here, she starts level 1 with 167 attack. She gets up to 363. Let's look at any other Pokemon that has like attack. So 134, it's already like 30 lower. It's like 60 lower. Well, that's weird. Isn't it? 134 and 289? Wow, that's really strange. Our attack is so high. Gengar, I think, 167. Gengar has the same. But the thing is, Gengar's a melee. And she's a ranged. Granted, it's not a super long range. But she's still ranged. But why does she have the same scaling as Gengar's attack? Her boosted auto isn't crazy damage, but honestly, that's for the best. She doesn't need that. She's great how she is. So Razor Claw can actually give you a good damage boost. Next up, I know everyone's going to probably judge me for this, but with how high her attack is, these aren't bad. You're going to be always using S tiers, and A tier is like the tech option. But you're never really going to use the B tier items, but technically they have more merit than, you know, these items down here. You're probably never going to really see these other than on a Potion Sylveon playing for the first time with the XP share. So yeah, Choice Specs, Bell, Energy Amp, x-atk. That's my preferred set with Mystical Fire. Just because you're alt charging faster. Your alt is where you can duel the best. And you can 1v2 pretty easily. Shell Bell. The heal's good, but I don't care about the heal. I care about the cooldown. But just because I don't care about the heal doesn't mean I don't think about it and make sure I Calm Mind the heal. If we take a look at it real quick, the Shell Bell healing is 45% special attack. That's not bad. 10-second cooldown's a long time, and it can trigger when you're at max HP. But because you're Sylveon, you're always being hit anyways, so you're probably not going to be at full HP. Now everyone talks about Draining Kiss, but I really don't like Draining Kiss at all. It just doesn't do much. Doesn't do very much. Let's quickly take a look at it one more time. Yeah, that's not really going to do any damage at all. Pretty bad, pretty bad. We talk about the voice set. Anything that boosts your special attack is going to be a lot better here. Honestly, I'm going to drop that down a tier. Now that I just looked at it again. I've really thought about this. but now I changed my mind on that. So Lens, Hyper Voice scales really well. The far hit is 54% special attack, up to 6 times, and then when it's plus 7 times, so that's really good. That's 350% plus a 4, 370 or something. 370% special attack. Every sack you get on the choice lens is just adding so much more damage. It'll get her online earlier. Choice specs, you already know the drill. These two items together are pretty good when you can get a couple stacks going. The raw stats on them too is also important. If you get them both to 30, it's like, what, 60 special attack? But that'll help out. Focus Band. Everyone knows Focus Band's broken. Buddy Barrier. Of course. So you're probably going to be looking at a Lens choice buddy set for the most part for Hyper Voice, with X speed just to counter the slow smoke meta. Then these items are all kind of lower tier. With Hyper Voice, you're not auto attacking, so Muscle Band is not actually as good. You're just hyper voicing like 100% of the time. There's like no part where you're not hyper voicing. And Shell Bells drop down from S tier to B tier because Hyper Voice will heal you a lot more from like bees and stuff. You're doing more damage to minions. You're just a less strong duelist against a lot of Pokemon. You'll have more trouble with Hyper Voice, but you'll be able to heal more, so you don't really need the Shell Bell anymore. And you don't really need the cooldown either, which is the main part I was using it for. Of course, Shield is not as good without the dash of Mystical Fire. You can be caught out easier, so I wouldn't recommend it as much. And Energy Amp isn't as good because it's harder. You can't guarantee you're going to get like a massive play with Energy Amp. You can't. It's just not possible. Mystical Fire, you can at least know you're hitting something, but you can whiff a voice and this will be a useless item. I guess you could say that for some other things, but at least some other things that you can use them outside of the ult. It's just too inconsistent to always guarantee the voice. Floatstone, anything below here is kind of just don't have to talk about it. These, you're never auto-attacking, so these are basically like worthless. Muscle Band, at least like you can like kind of weave in one auto, but these are, you're just not. You're just not. I could talk about the tier list next. Or like the matchup chart. I think Sylveon is usually going to be played solo top or jungle. And this kind of goes over what Pokemon I think the character beats and what I have beat with the Pokemon. We're going to start from probably the top. Cliffable. You can't win the matchup. It's impossible. It's like a 10-0 matchup. You just kind of lose on the character select screen, Some other people have a better matchup, but not Sylveon. We go from the bottom. Snorlax, Blissey, Trev, Wiggly. I know everyone would probably hate me for that, but Cramorant, Eldegoss, Garchomp, Gardevoir, and Slowbro. You can kind of all just kite all these people, and there's nothing they can do about it. The supporters, they're supporters. Eldegoss can run away, but that's what it is. You can do a lot of damage to all of them, and you can get free HP from them. Slow Smoke meta, of course, we're talking about items. Yeah, Garchomp can slow smoke you and potentially kill you if you're not prepared and not ready to react, and if you're spacing badly around his like dig or Dragon Rush. But for the most part, you win all these matchups. Gardevoir, it's hard for them to hit you with the Moonblast or Psychic, and you can just get out of it. Future Sight, you can just get out of it. Psyshock, if that's what it's called, the 3 blasts, you can just get out of it. And you also strip her special attack, so she's not hitting you nearly as hard as you're hitting her. Mystical Fire, Calm Mind, does insane damage for the first tick. Because you get the full damage of Mystical Fire, because subsequent hits of Mystical Fire does 25% damage. And that first hit with the choice specs as well is just gonna chunk them like 30% of their health. If you're scared of shit out of any special attack at Cramorant, what are they gonna do? Wigglytuff, she's annoying. She'll probably live just because of how bulky she is, how they overbuffed her defensive stats. But she's more of an annoyance. You do beat her in a 1v1, like a straight up 1v1. When she's singing, you just, you boosted auto, just walk away. Mystical Fire away to get out of sing range. And there's not much she can do after that. You'll just be kiting her after her sing, because she gets a small movement boost and sing. After the +1s. These are ones I think the character Sylveon beats, but there is some potential for the character to win, like Blastoise. Yeah, Blastoise can ult you Surf, Hydro Pump, that's like a true combo if they do it right in the right position. Now, that might kill you, but it'll be close, depending on the levels that Blastoise is, because he has pretty decent scaling. His stats just don't start scaling until later, so he might be able to 100 to 0 you, but he 100 to 0s a couple characters, so that's not just you. However, with Calm Mind, you can kind of just block the ult if they want to initiate with the ult, and then surf into Hydro Pump, or blocking anything, like blocking the surf, blocking the ult. Both will kind of deny them the combo, and then they're not as strong. You can kind of just lifesteal off of them. Not to mention, I mean, you could also just ult the ult and make his ult useless, but that's a topic that I don't really need to get into. Crustle, annoying, but you do beat him. If he goes Stealth Rocks, you can just get out of it. And if he puts the wall over it, you just hop over the wall. If he goes X-Scissor, that's the more annoying set, but it's really not too big of an issue. Mamoswine, he's got a lot of CC, and he's going to be the issue on a lot of teams that have Mamoswine, because he will be able to CC you to stop you from jumping around. But if you can just get out of his range, I mean, yeah, he could just eject button or something. Most Mamos run eject button, but if he does that, oh well. There you go. Great character. I love Mamos, actually. Mr. Mime, you beat him because it's hard for him to hit a combo on you. But Guard Swap does a bit better, though I don't really see Guard Swap in competitive as much as I see Barrier. If they go Guard Swap, he's probably an even matchup, just because if he hits it and then you're going to be taking such a big chunk. But otherwise, you're also stripping his special attack, so it won't do nearly as much as it normally would. Gengar, with his ult, he's scary. But with Calm Mind, you block a hit. So it's kind of, you know, like Mr. Mime, Calm Mind, you can block one of the hits of Confusion, because Confusion and the wall hit are actually two separate hits. So you'll block one of the hits, and he just won't do as much damage with Calm Mind Shield, because it nullifies one hit. Same as Gengar. You can Calm Mind the Shadow Ball, the Hex, sorry, not the Hex, the Dream Eater. Or if they go the Hex route, you beat them just because you're Mystical Firing and reducing their special attack. Absol, everyone's scared of Absol, but really, you just have to fight him. You don't want to give him any back hits. If you're like in the middle of the lane and he ganks, and you're already too far gone, you just fight him. You try to win, because if he's all reliant on crits and getting back hits, and if you're not giving him that, he's not nearly as scary. If you're like auto-attacking in place, your character will always face him, so he can't get the back hit without like a flash onto your other side, immediate back hit. I think a lot of people overestimate Absol. Even his early game, it's good if you're not playing around it. And I think in a second video I show down there, I do lose to an Absol early, but I kind of misstepped and went to a 1v2, which is still my fault. But in a 1v1, I think a lot of characters can beat Absol. I know people won't agree with that, but you just kind of have to fight him. Dragonite, whether he goes Hyper Beam or not, you can just wait it out and wait for your Mystical Fire. You can kind of dash around him. It's hard for him to hit him Hyper Beam. If he goes Outrage, that's actually a scarier set for Sylveon, because he can stick on top of you with Dragon Dance Outrage, because of this, every third hit stuns. But I don't really see any Outrage Dragonites in competitive, so I think you're fine. Ninetales, annoying, but this character kind of has an issue hitting the combo on you. Again, kind of like Gardevoir, but it's easier to hit the combo, so this character is better off against you than Gardevoir. Pikachu, annoying little bastard, the goddamn rat. Nobody likes him. He's always ulting. He's always throwing lightning balls. He's always throwing thunder at you, but honestly, I think you beat him. If he unites, I mean, yeah, you unite, and yours is a longer cooldown, but you do beat him in like a straight-on 1v1, so this is kind of where I'm going to put him. Sylveon's just such a strong duelist with how much special attack she can strip against any special attackers. Talonflame, Calm Mind Fly, doesn't do any damage. Calm Mind Brave Bird doesn't do any damage. And he's kind of lost a lot of his burst potential. The character's still scary, don't get me wrong. I mean, if he ults you and that's the first thing he does, Calm Mind, Talonflame ult will hit you once, and it'll hit you at the end of the duration as well. So you'll actually just completely just not get hit by the Talonflame ult if he ults you with Calm Mind up. So I've seen a lot of Talonflames just misplay. They need to wait out the Calm Mind duration, or Sylveon just need to hold on to Calm Mind a little bit and just kind of dance with the Talon. So I don't think this character is very scary at all with Sylveon. He's got mobility, which Talonflame likes characters with no mobility. Even matchups, I think it goes either way. Aegis/, great duelist as well. He's also one of the ones with that. But you kind of out-kite him. Both sets that he runs is annoying, and it results in a very long battle, but I think it's even in the end. Whoever has some more skill and whoever can dodge more stuff. Greedent, this bastard is everywhere. What can I say? I'm kind of sick of it. I love him as a character, but how they all play is kind of the issue with it. But they're good at the character. It's not easy to do. Bullet Seed. It's kind of difficult for Greedent to Bullet Seed you, just because you're so mobile, and you're usually dashing around him. Belch is probably the worst set, kinda, to go against, but I don't really see Greedent going Belch anymore, so you're probably fine. Charizard, yeah, his ult's good, but your ult's also good. You'll kind of lifesteal off of him when he's ulting you. But he can kill you with ult. You can kill him. It's even. Outside of ult, he's such a worse character. You can usually just box him out. But if he gets you in like a full Fire Blast, whatever the hell it's called, and you kind of get stuck in it, you can die, you know. Aurora, very annoying. Spark Wild Charge is definitely annoying, but it won't leave you dead unless they've got such a significant level lead, or they're like x-atk, energy amp, scope lens, some bullshit like that. It's even. Don't worry about it, it's even. Serena, another mobile character that's a great duelist. Her ult's very annoying with such a low short cooldown, but I also think you can beat this character. Sylveon's is such a good duelist as well, that people don't talk about. But all these matchups are even for a reason, because they both have the outplay potential. Greninja, he does do a lot of damage, and if he gets on top of you, execute damage with melee attacks is significant. You cannot deny that. But you have so much mobility as well, that you're kind of dancing around each other. Their Water Shuriken, it's going to be hard for him to hit you with it, because you should be moving kind of like at a 45-degree angle to him, and should be moving back and forth. So he's going to have trouble hitting Water Shuriken. Decidueye, this character with Razor Leaf outputs so much damage that it will actually kill you. Does more damage than Cinderace and Greninja. He doesn't have mobility. If he's a Spirit Shackle, you win. You just get on top of him and there's not much he can do. You do more burst damage than him. If he's Razor Leaf, you gotta be careful about where the Decidueye is stacking up. Now, Cinderace, yeah, the percent damage is great with its passive and everything, and it has good burst potential with Pyro Ball or Blaze Kick Auto Attacker. But I've beaten a lot of Cinderaces by just kiting them out, going into bushes and just denying them their like attack speed stim, stuff like that. Calm Mind also just gives you a shield and gets rid of one attack is also good. This gives you, like, people underestimate Sylveon, and I do die in the clips. In the 2 videos I took, I lost both of them, but the point isn't to show, like, you know, stomps. It's to show the character and where the character was good, you know? Lucario, even though you can block a Power Punch, he's still a strong character. He's probably not going to hit you with a close combat, but he can, and it's definitely scary. But most Lucarios will initiate with Power Punch from, like, a bush or something. So if you can kind of like predict that and not get hit by that, obviously you're gonna be okay with Calm Mind. But you need to know like where you're gonna be going on a map, like between the walls here, between these 2 walls as well. Maybe not this one. This one's too close to goal zone, but like here, you could jump over these walls. You can kind of jump over the corners of these to get a little bit more boost up, you know, over an opponent. Down here, same. You can kind of jump over like the corner of these. You can't jump over the full thing here. It's too big. Machamp though, these are the losing matchups where I think these characters just can beat you. Machamp. Machamps have given me a lot of trouble. It's a melee, but their burst is so strong if they're going like the crit route with like Dynamic Punch and Cross Chop x-atk. They will kill you before you kill them. And then their ult, you can break out of it sometimes, but you have to be mashing really hard with your ult. Full heal is better against him, of course, because then you can full heal his ult. You can full heal like a slow smoke if he drops one, but I think this character is one you gotta be very wary of. Weirdly enough, I didn't think he would be very good, but he's actually quite fast and does so much burst that you can't really out heal that when he does a combo. Hoopa. I hate Hoopa. I've seen Trick Hoopas, I've seen Portal Hoopas. Then denying you the fact that you get to 1v1 or like 1v2 duel some people, and then Hoopa's just like, nah, alt. I bring the whole family with me. It's so annoying. It kind of denies what a lot of duelists want to do, like Serena. Lucario likes to duel as well. Aegislash loves to duel. Hoopa just bringing the party with them just sucks. And letting rotations happen suck. Because then they can rotate on you when you're trying to get like a nice 1v1 down. Other than that, even Trick is annoying. Trick is a massive shield. Trick gives 40% lifesteal. Shadow Ball is a stun, strips your special defense. You don't really have much, but I think Hoopa's just a really strong character with whatever route you go with him. I don't think he's going to shift the meta as much as people think, but he's definitely going to be on every single team. I think there might be some potential for him to not be on some teams, but for the most part, I don't know. This character is so stupid as he is right now. But Venusaur. So Solar Beam, you beat them. They cannot kill you. You beat them. They can sit under tower. Well, they'll probably beat you with auto attacks, but Giga Drain Pedal Dance is a bane of existence that I didn't know I hated, because it'll out heal on you more than you'll heal from them, and it also does a lot of damage, and it can catch up to you. In some regards, it is a better Sylveon for that reason, but Sylveon has some other things going for it, like its ult. But Venusaur is kind of a better character, but you just have to be careful with that. You just have to know that that character will be able to run you down and chase you. Not much more I could say. I mean, everyone's probably seen how good Venusaur is. They know that Venusaur with like an Elagos is insane because of how fast it can catch up and rotate. Venusaur Blissey, insane. Venusaur Hoopa, goddamn cracked. Giving Venusaur more lifesteal or just having him get portals and movement speed. Insane. But anyways, I'll probably wrap this up. I'm not going to keep it going on for too much longer. Just know what levels you get strong at. Just know to play around Mystical Fire cooldown resets when you're hitting targets. Make sure you're calm mining the first hit of your combo. So that way you get 40% special attack additional for the choice specs. Make sure you're only ulting when you have both Calm Mind and X-Attack up, so you get that big boost of damage. Energy Amp is good, but if you want to swap out Energy Amp for the builds, for the Hyper Fire build, you could probably just go Focus Band, honestly. Choice, Bell, Focus, that would be okay as well. But try it out. Try out the cooldown build here. See how you like it. You're really trying to min-max how much you're dashing around with Sylveon to be as much of an annoyance as possible. But hopefully everyone enjoyed. Definitely give me some criticism in the comments about stuff. I'd love to hear it. Thank you for watching.